In the heart of medieval Europe, a vast structure loomed over the landscape, a castle. This was not merely a residence, it was the fortified seat of power for the king or lord who ruled the surrounding territory. Picture a sprawling complex, complete with towering walls and a great hall where residents slept on straw-covered floors. Welcome to medieval castle life, a world away from modern comforts, but rich in its own unique challenges and intrigues. The Middle Ages, stretching roughly from 500 to 1500 AD, were a time of significant technological advancements and historical shifts. Castles themselves were a symbol of this era's progress in architecture and warfare. But living in these fortresses was no walk in the park. The great halls, where lords held court and feasts were celebrated, also served as communal sleeping areas. Residents would lay out straw-covered pallets on the cold stone floors, often sharing the space with animals like dogs or chickens. This was a time of stark contrasts. While lords and ladies enjoyed luxuries like silk bedding and fine furnishings in their private chambers, the common folk endured cramped and often uncomfortable conditions. Imagine waking up to the clucking of chickens or the barking of dogs, not exactly a serene morning routine. Yet, this was the reality for many who called these castles home. But why such harsh living conditions? Part of it was due to the constant threat of invasion and siege. Castles were built for defense as much as for residence. In times of war, these great halls would be converted into makeshift barracks to accommodate the influx of soldiers and servants who came to defend the castle. Thus, the Great Hall served as both a symbol of grandeur and a practical space for survival during trying times. It was here that the resilience and resourcefulness of medieval residents were truly put to the test. Before we begin, a small request. Most of the people listening tonight aren't subscribed. If this channel has ever helped you drift off, take a moment to subscribe. It's free. It helps this channel more than you'd think, and you can always change your mind later. And if you feel like it, leave a comment telling me where in the world you're listening from and what time it is where you are. I love reading them. One more thing before we begin. I'm also a co-founder of a sleep app built to be the most affordable one out there. No ads, ever. Just sounds and stories made to help you sleep. It may not be released yet as this video goes up, but if you're watching a little later, it might be out by now. Just search for it. It should be easy to find. It works on iPhone, Android, and everything in between. Downloading it is the best way to support this channel. When thinking of medieval life, it's easy to picture grand banquets and lavish feasts taking place within the stone walls of castles. But beyond their ceremonial functions, great halls served as multi-purpose spaces essential to daily life. These vast rooms were not just reserved for royalty or nobility. They played a crucial role in the lives of all residents, from lords to servants. In many castles, great halls doubled as communal sleeping quarters. During harsh winters, or when under threat of attack, residents would gather en masse in the hall for safety and warmth. Straw-covered floors provided some insulation from the cold stone beneath, though conditions were far from cozy. Despite the crowded and sometimes chaotic atmosphere, the Great Hall ensured that everyone had a place to rest. During daylight hours, these halls buzzed with activity. They often served as dining areas where communal meals were prepared and shared. This practice not only fostered a sense of unity, but also ensured that no one went hungry. The Great Hall was also a place where important decisions were made and community meetings held. Lords would gather with their advisors to discuss strategies, while servants might meet here to coordinate daily tasks. In times of peace, great halls could transform into hubs for social events and celebrations. Music, storytelling, and performances by traveling minstrels would fill the air with joy and entertainment. But it was during moments of crisis that the Great Hall's significance became most apparent. In times of siege or invasion, residents would huddle together in these spacious rooms for protection. Their vast size and strong construction offered a sense of security that smaller chambers couldn't match. While not entirely safe from attack, the Great Hall provided a vital refuge during uncertain times. The multi-purpose nature of great halls underscores their indispensable role in medieval life. They were not just grand spaces for displaying wealth and power, but essential communal areas that ensured the survival and well-being of all castle residents. Despite their austere appearance, great halls were the heartbeat of castle life, pulsating with the rhythms of daily activities and providing a sanctuary when needed. Whether hosting grand feasts or offering shelter from danger, these halls encapsulated the resilience and unity that defined medieval life within their stone walls. The strategic placement of medieval castles was no accident. Throughout the Middle Ages, these fortified structures served as the heart and defensive backbone of feudal societies. The choice of location was crucial for their success. Beginning in the 9th century, coinciding with the rise of feudalism, castle construction flourished across Europe. These strongholds were not merely residences for lords and their families. They were fortified sanctuaries designed to protect against invaders. One of the primary considerations in selecting a site for a castle was its topography. High ground offered a significant advantage. From atop hills or mountains, defenders could survey vast areas and spot approaching enemies from afar. This elevated position also made it more challenging for attackers to reach the castle walls. Climbing steep inclines exhausted soldiers and made them vulnerable to counterattacks from above. Moreover, high ground often provided natural defenses, such as rocky outcrops, that could be integrated into the castle structure, further bolstering its fortifications. Bodies of water like rivers and lakes were another preferred location for castles. These waterways provided a steady supply of fresh water, vital for sustaining the castle's inhabitants during sieges. Water also offered a means of transport and communication. Castles built near rivers or lakes could easily receive supplies and reinforcements by boat. Additionally, these water bodies acted as natural barriers that could be used to defend the castle from land-based attacks. Moats and other artificial water features were often dug around castles to enhance this advantage. In summary, the strategic placement of medieval castles was not random, but carefully calculated to maximize defensive capabilities and ensure the survival of their inhabitants. Understanding the thought process behind these castle locations reveals the ingenuity and foresight of medieval architects in creating enduring fortresses that stood against the tests of time. In medieval societies, religious groups held significant influence, shaping the daily lives of castle residents. Among these influential groups were clergy and monastic orders, which played crucial roles within castle walls. The presence of religious figures brought a unique dynamic to the social hierarchy of castles. These figures not only provided spiritual guidance, but also contributed to administrative tasks and maintained records within the castle. Moreover, their role extended beyond the mundane, as they often served as advisors to the nobility. Their wisdom and counsel were invaluable in navigating the complex challenges that castle life presented. This multifaceted influence underscored the intricate web of social classes within medieval castles. As we delve deeper into castle life, we find that these hierarchies were not merely about power, but also about the delicate balance of responsibilities and respect. Beyond the grandeur of castle walls, medieval peasants formed a significant portion of society. They were the backbone of the feudal system, working the land owned by lords in exchange for protection and a share of the harvest. Daily life for medieval peasants was grueling and unforgiving. Their days were filled with hard labor, often beginning before dawn and ending after dusk. They tilled the soil, planted crops, and maintained livestock. Every task was crucial to ensure a good harvest, which would determine their survival for the coming year. Their homes were often simple dwellings made of timber and thatch, providing little comfort against the elements. Families would huddle together for warmth during the cold medieval winters, Women played a vital role in the household, managing chores such as cooking, cleaning, and caring for children. They also helped with farm work during critical times of the year. Despite their hardships, medieval peasants held a deep respect for the natural world and its cycles. They understood the importance of seasonal changes and the impact of weather on their crops. However, their lives were not without danger. Accusations of witchcraft were common, with many women unfairly targeted and punished. Burned at the stake or drowned in rivers, these tragic events cast a dark shadow over their communities. Fear and superstition often led to devastating consequences. Yet, amidst the hardships, medieval peasants maintained a sense of community and resilience. Their lives were intrinsically linked to the land they worked, fostering a deep connection to their environment. This bond with nature shaped not only their daily routines but also their cultural beliefs and traditions, creating a rich tapestry of rural life. Medieval castles, those formidable strongholds of the Middle Ages, were not just residences, but also fortified defensive structures. The daily life of castle residents was shaped by the constant threat of invasion. Castle defenses were a crucial aspect of medieval architecture and strategy. One of the most effective defensive measures used in medieval castles was the moat. Moats surrounded many castles, providing an additional layer of protection against potential attackers. These moats served multiple purposes. They made it difficult for enemies to approach the castle directly, forcing them to use specific entry points that could be more easily defended. Moreover, the presence of a moat added psychological deterrence. The sight of a deep, water-filled trench around a castle could intimidate would-be invaders and dissuade them from attempting an assault. But the defenses did not stop at moats. Castles were often designed with high walls, towering turrets, and thick fortifications to deter or repel attackers. The architecture itself was a formidable barrier. Within these defensive structures, residents would have access to stored supplies, weapons, and strategic vantage points from which they could observe and respond to any threats. The castle's design ensured that its inhabitants were well protected. Castle gates were heavily fortified and often guarded by soldiers. These entry points could be quickly barricaded in case of an attack, further securing the castle against unwanted intrusions. In times of crisis, residents could retreat to inner sanctums or keep towers, which were even more secure and defensible. These safe havens allowed them to weather sieges and wait for reinforcements. The defensive measures in medieval castles highlight the importance of strategic planning and engineering in safeguarding communities during times of war and unrest. The architectural choices made centuries ago continue to shape our understanding of defensive strategies today. In the High Middle Ages, a time of grand castles and vast great halls, military campaigns were launched to control holy sites. One of the most notable series of these campaigns was known as the Crusades. Initiated by Pope Urban II in 1096, the Crusades aimed to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim control. The First Crusade saw European knights and soldiers marching across the continent, determined to seize Jerusalem. These campaigns were marked by significant battles and sieges. The Siege of Jerusalem in 1099 is a famous example. As the Crusades continued into the 12th and 13th centuries, military campaigns became more complex and far-reaching. One such campaign was the Third Crusade, led by Richard the Lionheart in 1189. These military efforts were driven by religious fervor and the desire to protect holy sites. However, these campaigns also brought significant challenges to medieval communities. The constant threat of invasion and warfare required castles to be fortified with thick walls and towering turrets. Moats were dug around castles to provide an additional layer of defense against invading armies. The external threats posed by the Crusades campaigns highlighted the critical role castles played in safeguarding medieval communities. Through these campaigns and the defensive strategies employed by castle dwellers, we gain a deeper understanding of life in the Middle Ages. Castle construction in the Middle Ages is a fascinating chapter that reveals much about the societal shifts and defensive needs of the era. By the 9th century, Europe was undergoing significant transformations. The rise of feudalism brought with it new power structures and defensive requirements. Castles began to appear during this period, not just as residences for the nobility, but also as fortified strongholds against potential invaders. But the construction of these castles was no small feat. It required considerable resources and labor from both skilled craftsmen and common workers. Imagine the sight of a castle under construction stones being laid, walls rising higher and higher to meet the sky. It was a monumental task that required precision and coordination. These castles became not just structures of defense, but symbols of power and influence in medieval society. They marked the territory of the lord who resided within, serving as both a residence and a statement of authority. The rise of castle construction coinciding with feudalism shows us how deeply intertwined were the needs for defense and the assertion of political control in medieval Europe. And so, we see that castle construction wasn't merely a matter of architecture, but a reflection of the broader historical and societal shifts occurring in medieval Europe. While castle construction in medieval Europe was primarily influenced by local architectural traditions, it's fascinating to note that the Byzantine Empire left an indelible mark on castle design, particularly in Eastern Europe. This influence can be traced back to the strategic alliances and cultural exchanges between the Eastern Roman Empire and various European kingdoms during the Middle Ages. The Byzantines were renowned for their advanced architectural techniques and innovations. Their engineering prowess was evident in the grandeur of structures like the Hagia Sophia, which showcased remarkable features such as massive domes supported by intricate arches. These architectural elements found their way into medieval castles, with builders in Eastern Europe adopting similar techniques to enhance the strength and aesthetic appeal of their fortifications. For instance, the use of vaulted ceilings, which were a signature feature in Byzantine architecture, was integrated into medieval castles to create spacious and resilient interior spaces. The Byzantines also pioneered the use of large windows that allowed for natural light to flood into their buildings, a feature that was adopted in Eastern European castles to brighten living quarters and improve overall functionality. Beyond architecture, the cultural exchange between the Byzantine Empire and medieval societies also enriched daily life within castle walls. Artisans and craftsmen from Constantinople brought with them knowledge of mosaics, frescoes, and intricate textiles. These artistic elements not only enhanced the aesthetic beauty of castle interiors, but also reflected a sophisticated blend of Eastern and Western traditions that made castle life more vibrant and culturally rich. Moreover, the Byzantine influence extended to defensive strategies, with Eastern European castles adopting fortification techniques that had proven effective in the Byzantine Empire. The strategic placement of castles on high ground or near water sources, a tactic honed by the Byzantines to deter invasions, was similarly employed in medieval Eastern Europe. Thus, the influence of Byzantine architecture on medieval castle design underscores not just a transfer of technical knowledge, but also a rich cultural exchange that shaped the fabric of life in castles during the Middle Ages. By understanding these Byzantine influences, we gain deeper insights into the multifaceted nature of medieval castle life, a blend of defensive ingenuity and cultural elegance that continues to captivate us today. With Petr Žákl's Medieval, a 2022 Czech historical drama, we catch a glimpse of the intricate tapestry that is medieval castle life, a tale that resonates deeply as interest in these fortified strongholds continues to grow. The film, directed by Petr Žákl, takes us back to the Middle Ages, when castles were not merely defensive fortresses, but also vibrant centers of cultural and social life. As we look towards the future, the fascination with medieval castles shows no signs of abating. Scholars are increasingly turning their attention to these architectural marvels, delving into the daily lives and challenges faced by their inhabitants. Through meticulous archaeological work and historical studies, we are uncovering new insights about castle residents, from the nobility to the common folk who called these grand structures home. These ongoing efforts paint a vivid picture of the medieval world, one that blends the harsh realities of defense with the rich tapestry of daily life within castle walls. And as we continue to explore these enigmatic fortresses, it becomes clear that their appeal lies not just in their defensive prowess, but also in the human stories they hold. The future of medieval castle studies is bright, promising new discoveries that will shed light on the lives of those who lived and died within their walls. As we peer through the lens of history, these fortresses continue to captivate us with their enduring allure, a testament to the enduring fascination with the medieval era. And so, with each new discovery and every preserved artifact, we take a step closer to understanding the true essence of life in these grand structures, a journey that is both fascinating and humbling. Welcome to the world of Castle Future, where every discovery unveils a new layer of the medieval past, drawing us ever closer to the heart of these magnificent strongholds. While the medieval castle's primary purpose was to serve as a fortified military stronghold, its daily life hummed with the rhythm of a complex community. At the heart of this community lay the bustling kitchens, where skilled staff worked tirelessly to feed the castle's inhabitants. The Great Hall, a vast space that often doubled as a communal sleeping area, was where the residents would gather for meals. The kitchen staff, typically comprising cooks, bakers, and scullery maids, played a vital role in maintaining the castle's operations. Their daily tasks began with the preparation of ingredients sourced from nearby lands and markets. Staples like grains, vegetables, and meats were essential in creating hearty meals that could sustain the castle's population. Cooking methods were primitive by today's standards, but effective for their time. Open hearths blazed with wood fires, over which large cauldrons of stew simmered. Spits roasted meats while bakers tended to the castle's ovens, turning out fresh loaves of bread. However, preserving food was a significant challenge. With no modern refrigeration, medieval cooks relied on techniques like salting and smoking to extend the life of their provisions. Salt was a precious commodity, used not only for seasoning but also for curing meats. This process involved covering meat with a layer of salt to draw out moisture and prevent spoilage. Smoking, another effective method, infused meats with flavors from wood smoke while also preserving them. This technique was particularly useful for fish and game meat, extending their shelf life. Despite these efforts, the logistical challenges of feeding a large castle population were immense. Kitchen staff had to manage supplies meticulously and plan meals well in advance. The Great Hall would often echo with the communal spirit of residents sharing meals together, a testament to the essential role kitchen staff played in maintaining the castle's vibrant community. In this way, the medieval castle kitchens served as the pulse of daily life within these fortified walls, providing sustenance and fostering a sense of unity among its inhabitants. And so, amidst the grandeur and military might of the castle, the humble kitchens stood as a cornerstone of medieval life, ensuring that both body and spirit were well fed. While the castle served as a formidable military stronghold, its inhabitants were not immune to the challenges of daily life, particularly when it came to healthcare. In the absence of modern medical facilities, castle residents relied on a combination of local healers and self-treatment, using remedies from the castle's gardens. Among these local healers were barber surgeons, who not only provided haircuts, but also performed surgical procedures and pulled teeth. The term barber surgeon might seem unusual today, but it reflected the multitasking nature of medieval life where skills were often combined. Common ailments within castle walls included toothaches, wounds from battles or accidents, and various infectious diseases. Basic medical practices involved the use of herbs and plants grown in the castle's gardens for their healing properties. However, hygienic conditions within castles were often far from ideal due to limited access to clean water and overcrowded living quarters. With no understanding of germs, residents struggled with illnesses that could spread rapidly among the population. offering a glimpse into the primitive healthcare system and sanitary challenges faced by residents. It is clear that life within medieval castles was far from easy. Residents would often gather in vast great halls for communal prayers, their voices echoing under the timbered roofs. Chaplains, often clergymen or monks from nearby monasteries, would lead these rituals, their presence adding spiritual gravity to the proceedings. Faith played a crucial role in the daily routines of castle inhabitants, guiding their actions and providing solace during trying times. The architecture of medieval castles often incorporated religious symbolism, such as crosses carved into stone walls or chapels integrated into the castle's design. These symbols served not only as decorative elements, but also as potent reminders of divine protection and guidance. The importance of religion in medieval castle life was so deep that it permeated even the most mundane aspects of daily existence. Illuminating this spiritual dimension reveals a profound aspect of life within castles that influenced not just their beliefs, but also their resilience in the face of hardships. Offering a glimpse into the spiritual underpinnings of castle life, it becomes clear that faith was a constant and comforting presence amidst the challenges of medieval existence. Beyond the rigors of daily life, medieval castle residents also found moments of leisure and entertainment. The Great Hall, a communal space at the heart of castle life, served as the stage for various forms of entertainment. One popular form of entertainment was minstrel performances, where traveling musicians would regale residents with songs and stories. These performances not only provided entertainment, but also kept the people informed about the world beyond their castle walls. Storytelling was another cherished pastime. Bards would recite epic tales of heroes and legends that captivated the audience. These narratives often blended historical facts with fantastical elements, weaving a rich tapestry of medieval lore. Feast days and celebrations marked important events in the calendar and provided an opportunity for joyous gatherings. These events were not merely times of indulgence, but also a means to strengthen community bonds and reinforce social hierarchies. In balancing their demanding work with moments of relaxation and enjoyment, the residents of medieval castles created a rich cultural tapestry that continues to captivate us today. Beyond the grandeur of medieval castle life, the mundane task of maintaining cleanliness was a significant challenge. While healthcare as we understand it today did not exist, hygiene practices were nevertheless crucial for daily living. Communal baths were a central aspect of castle life. These bathing facilities, often located within the Great Hall or nearby, served multiple purposes beyond mere cleanliness. They offered residents a chance to socialize and relax after long days of labor. The warmth and steam of these baths could alleviate muscle strain, making them a popular gathering place. Personal hygiene rituals were also important, though often simpler than our modern standards. Medieval residents would use basins of water to wash their hands and faces, sometimes using cloths or sponges. The importance of water in medieval castles cannot be overstated. It was used not just for bathing, but also for cooking, washing clothes, and even as a status symbol. The role of cleanliness in medieval castle life was multifaceted, affecting not just health, but also social dynamics and daily routines. Despite the differences from our modern standards, the importance of cleanliness in their daily lives is unmistakable. Understanding these practices offers a glimpse into the rich tapestry of medieval life and its enduring relevance. Medieval castle life revolved around self-sufficiency, particularly in textile production. The Great Hall was the heart of this industry, where residents would weave and spin cloth throughout the day and night. Using looms and spinning wheels, craftspeople in medieval castles created fabric for clothes, blankets, and other essentials. This process was labor-intensive, but crucial to the castle's daily life. The raw material for these textiles often came from sheep grazing on nearby lands. The wool would be sheared, cleaned, and prepared before being spun into thread. Dyeing was another intricate part of the process. Natural pigments extracted from plants like woad or madder were used to color fabrics in hues ranging from deep blues to warm reds. These textiles served both practical and symbolic purposes within the castle. They not only provided warmth, but also indicated status and wealth, with finer fabrics reserved for nobility. The skill and patience required for these tasks demonstrate the craftsmanship of medieval residents, who had to be adept at multiple aspects of production to meet their needs. This intricate web of domestic economy within castle walls reveals a society deeply connected to its environment and resources, illustrating the resilience and ingenuity of medieval residents. Their ability to create these essentials from scratch highlights a period where every task was interwoven with the daily rhythm of life, each thread contributing to the rich fabric of their existence. From the humble spinning wheel to the intricate patterns of woven cloth, textile production in medieval castles was more than just a necessity. It was an art form that brought warmth and beauty into their lives. Beyond the practical arts like textile production, education, and learning were crucial aspects of life in medieval castle communities. In an era where literacy was a privilege reserved for a select few, the clergy played a pivotal role in disseminating knowledge. The clergy, comprising monks, nuns, and priests, were often the only literate individuals within a community. They dedicated their lives to studying religious texts and scripts. These educated clerics served as teachers and mentors, offering instruction not just in religious matters, but also in subjects such as Latin, basic mathematics, and sometimes even classical literature. For the nobility and their children, private tutors were hired to provide a more formal education. These tutors ensured that the young nobles could read, write, and manage basic administrative tasks. The role of clergy in teaching was vital, as they were often the sole conduit through which knowledge and learning could flow into a community. They maintained libraries within monasteries and castles. These libraries contained precious manuscripts and scrolls that were meticulously copied by hand. Access to these books was limited to those who could read Latin and the clerical elite. Even commoners would send their children to listen at the gates of monasteries or churches where lessons were being given, hoping that some knowledge might trickle down. In this way, medieval society valued and sought after education and learning, recognizing its importance not just for spiritual enlightenment, but also for practical purposes in everyday life. The pursuit of knowledge was seen as a pathway to wisdom and a better understanding of the world, reflecting the deep curiosity and intellectual aspirations of medieval people. Beyond the castle walls, the pursuit of knowledge extended to the practical arts like gardening and agriculture. Medieval castles often featured extensive kitchen gardens where a variety of vegetables and herbs were cultivated. These gardens served both culinary and medicinal purposes, with many plants like parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme being used in both cooking and healing remedies. The cultivation of these plants was meticulous, with specific techniques such as crop rotation and companion planting being employed to maintain soil fertility and deter pests. Medieval gardeners also made use of natural fertilizers like compost and manure to enrich the soil, showing an early understanding of sustainable agricultural practices. The interdependence of these self-sustaining gardening methods was crucial for castle life, ensuring a steady supply of food and medicinal resources even during times of siege or isolation. This balance of practical knowledge and sustainable practices highlights the resilience and ingenuity of medieval castle residents in maintaining their way of life. As we delve deeper into the daily lives of these residents, it becomes clear that every aspect of their existence was interwoven with a deep respect for nature and an understanding of its cycles. These gardens not only provided sustenance, but also offered a sense of comfort and connection to the natural world, a reminder that even within fortified walls, life was intricately bound to the rhythms of the earth. In this balance between cultivated gardens and the wild world beyond, we see a testament to the harmonious relationship medieval people sought with their environment. As the winter winds swept across medieval landscapes, inhabitants of castles faced a unique set of challenges in maintaining warmth and light within their stone fortresses. Central to their survival was the open hearth, or fireplace, often located in the great hall where much of daily life took place. These fires not only provided heat, but also served as a communal gathering spot, creating a sense of unity among residents. However, the smoke from these open flames posed significant health risks and discomfort. To mitigate this issue, residents sometimes used braziers, small, portable fire pots that could be placed strategically around the castle. This approach allowed for better distribution of heat while reducing smoke concentration in any single area. For illumination during the long, dark nights, candles and torches were essential. Candles, typically made from beeswax or tallow, offered a soft glow that could be dimmed as needed. Torches, on the other hand, provided more robust lighting for tasks requiring greater visibility, such as nighttime patrols or working in poorly lit areas. Yet, even these sources of light came with their own set of hazards, including the risk of fire and the need for constant tending. Oil lamps, though less common, offered another option for safe, smokeless light. These devices use small wicks soaked in oil to produce a steady flame that could be adjusted according to the desired brightness. Despite these adaptations, life in a medieval castle during winter was far from comfortable. Residents endured the constant struggle of maintaining adequate heat and light while mitigating risks such as smoke inhalation and fire hazards. In this balance between cultivated comforts and the harsh realities of medieval living, we see a testament to the resilience and resourcefulness of castle inhabitants. With the sun rising over the castle walls, inhabitants begin their daily chores. These tasks are essential for maintaining the functionality and cleanliness of the medieval fortress. Cleaning is a crucial aspect of these chores. Residents sweep the floors of the Great Hall and other communal spaces using brooms made from bundled straw. Food storage is another vital responsibility. Grain and other provisions are kept in cellars to prevent spoilage. Laundry is handled by washing clothes in large tubs filled with water hauled from nearby wells or rivers. Waste management is also a critical task. Human waste is collected and disposed of in designated areas outside the castle walls. The division of labor among different social classes plays a significant role in these tasks. Nobility and their immediate family members oversee the work. Peasants and servants carry out the physical labor under the supervision of stewards or castellans. These collaborative efforts are essential for the smooth functioning of the castle, ensuring that it remains a secure and comfortable home. As the day draws to a close, the castle is left clean, well-stocked, and ready for another cycle of daily tasks. As dawn breaks, the castle hums with activity. The blacksmith's forge glows red as he shapes hot iron into tools and weapons. Nearby, stone masons chisel away at massive blocks, crafting walls that will stand the test of time. Woodworkers carve intricate details into beams, ensuring each piece fits seamlessly into the castle's framework. The castle serves as more than just a residence, it is a hub of skilled labor. Stone masons are essential for maintaining and expanding the castle's infrastructure. Their expertise in quarrying, cutting, and shaping stone ensures the fortress remains impregnable. Blacksmithing is another critical trade within the castle walls. Blacksmiths craft not only weapons, but also tools and hardware necessary for daily life and maintenance. Their forges, fueled by coal or charcoal, are a constant site of industry and heat. Carpentry is equally vital. Woodworkers design and construct everything from furniture to doors and windows. Their precise joinery ensures structures can withstand the elements while maintaining functionality and aesthetic appeal. These craftsmen are not isolated, but rather part of a network that sustains castle life. Local markets bustle with trade exchanges, where goods change hands and wealth is circulated. This commerce supports the livelihoods of both residents within the castle and those in surrounding villages. The importance of skilled labor and commerce cannot be overstated. They ensure that medieval castles not only remain defensible, but also serve as thriving communities where people can live, work, and prosper. As the sun sets, the castle's craftsmanship and trade continue to sustain its inhabitants, ready for another cycle of daily tasks. As the day winds down, the castle's inhabitants prepare for a night filled with tales and traditions that weave their rich cultural tapestry together. At the heart of this medieval community lies a deep well of folklore, a mix of superstitions, legends, and moral fables that shape their daily lives. From the great hall where they gather to sleep on straw-covered floors, stories are told that bring both comfort and caution. One such tale speaks of a black cat crossing one's path as an omen of bad luck, a belief rooted in the ancient fear of the unknown. Another popular superstition involves a horseshoe nailed above doorways for protection, its crescent shape reminiscent of the moon, a celestial body that itself holds significant sway in medieval beliefs. But not all tales are about warding off evil spirits. Some revolve around local legends and heroic figures whose bravery is celebrated within these stone walls. One such legend tells of a fearless knight who, during a siege, single-handedly defended the castle against overwhelming odds. His story is passed down through generations, inspiring both courage and loyalty. Storytelling in medieval castles serves multiple purposes, not only as entertainment but also as a means of moral education. Tales often carry lessons that guide the behavior and values of the inhabitants. A classic example is the story of the Pied Piper of Hamelin, who used his enchanting music to lure rats out of the town. This fable underscores the importance of keeping one's promises and dealing honestly with others. The role of storytelling extends beyond merely passing the time. It is an essential part of medieval culture, helping to preserve history, wisdom, and collective identity. As the night deepens, a soft whisper begins to spread among the sleeping inhabitants about a ghostly figure said to haunt one of the castle's towers, a tale that adds an element of mystery and intrigue to their lives. This rich tapestry of folklore, filled with both hope and fear, shapes the everyday experiences of those living within the castle walls. It is through these stories that they find meaning in their daily routines, whether joyous or perilous. And so, as the sun rises once more, the castle's inhabitants awake to a new day, carrying with them the wisdom and wonder of their ancient tales. Their lives are interwoven with these stories, reminding them of both the beauty and the danger that surrounds them within the walls of this magnificent stronghold. The hall was filled with straw-covered floors where people of various ranks slept side by side, creating a unique sense of community and equality within the castle's hierarchical structure. Beyond sleeping, the Great Hall was a hub of activity where many crucial tasks were carried out. Blacksmithing, for instance, was a critical duty that required skill and precision. The blacksmith's workshop was often located near the Great Hall, allowing him to forge tools, weapons, and other essential items under the watchful eyes of the castle's residents. Farming was another vital task that fell under the purview of the castle's labor force. The surrounding lands were cultivated to provide food for the inhabitants. Peasants and serfs would toil in the fields, planting crops like wheat and barley, ensuring that there was always enough grain stored within the castle's walls. Cooking was yet another crucial duty, handled by a skilled team of cooks and kitchen staff. They were responsible for preparing meals that sustained the entire castle population. The hierarchical structure of labor within a medieval castle was clear and defined. At the top stood the lord or king, overseeing all operations. Beneath the lord were the knights and nobles who handled administrative tasks and military duties, ensuring the castle's security. The lower ranks included skilled craftsmen like blacksmiths and masons, as well as farmers and servants who performed the vital labor that kept the castle running smoothly. This division of labor was essential to the castle's functioning, ensuring that every necessary task was carried out with efficiency and precision. Through these interconnected roles, the castle not only stood as a formidable fortress, but also as a thriving community where each resident's duties contributed to the greater whole. As the sun set and the castle's inhabitants retired to their straw-covered beds in the great hall, they could rest assured that their labor had not only maintained the stronghold, but also nurtured a sense of unity within its walls. The division of labor in a medieval castle was more than just a system. It was the heartbeat that kept this intricate society alive and functioning. And as dawn broke each morning, the rhythm of labor and duty would commence anew, ensuring that the castle's inhabitants were prepared for whatever challenges the day might bring. Beneath the cold light of dawn, residents of medieval castles would gather in the castle's great hall, awaiting the Lord's proclamations. Justice was not an abstract concept, but a tangible necessity that permeated daily life. Trials were often conducted within the castle itself, overseen by the Lord or his designated steward. The accused would stand before a panel of peers, their fate decided not by impersonal laws, but by the personal judgments of those who knew them best. Crimes varied from petty theft to treason, each met with punishments that reflected the Lord's will and the community's norms. A thief might lose a hand, while a traitor could face a gruesome public execution. The Lord's power was absolute. His word was the ultimate arbiter of truth and justice. Yet this authority came with a heavy burden, the responsibility to maintain order and dispense fairness. For the residents, the spectacle of justice was a stark reminder of their place within the castle's rigid hierarchy. Each trial served as a lesson, a warning that disobedience would not go unpunished. Yet despite the severity, this system of justice was deeply woven into the fabric of castle life. It offered a grim reassurance that even in the harshest times, there was order to be found. And so, within the walls of these medieval fortresses, a complex dance of power and order played out, shaping not just the lives of the residents, but also the very soul of the castle itself. For in a world where the line between survival and chaos was thin indeed, justice served as more than just a means of punishment. It was a beacon of stability amidst the storm. Beyond the walls of a medieval castle, seasons shaped daily life and rituals in profound ways. While the stone fortresses stood as eternal sentinels, life within them shifted with each cycle of nature's clockwork. During the vibrant days of spring, castle residents would often gather in the great hall for feasts and celebrations. The scent of blooming flowers wafted through open windows as minstrels strummed lutes and sang tales of chivalry. In summer, the castle grounds would bustle with activity. Peasants labored in fields to harvest crops under the sun's golden gaze. Knights trained for tournaments, their armor clinking as they practiced their jousting skills. Autumn brought a sense of urgency to castle life. Harvests were collected and stored in vast cellars, preparing for the long winter ahead. Festivals like the harvest moon were celebrated with great fanfare, marking the end of the plentiful season. As winter set in, castle life retreated indoors. The great hall became a communal sleeping space, filled with straw-covered floors where residents huddled together for warmth. Preparations for the season included stockpiling firewood and ensuring that food stores would last through the cold months. Festivals like Yule were celebrated with roaring fires and hearty meals, providing a sense of comfort amidst the harsh winter. This cyclical nature of life within medieval castles was not just about seasons. It was a dance of survival and adaptation. Each season brought its own challenges and joys, all intertwined in the tapestry of medieval life. From the blooming of spring to the frost of winter, residents adapted with a resilience that was as much a part of their legacy as the castles themselves. And so, life within the castle walls echoed with the rhythm of nature's seasons, a testament to the adaptability and endurance of those who called these fortresses home. In this world where lines between survival and chaos were thin, each season brought its own lessons, forging a connection between the castle inhabitants and the natural cycles that governed their lives. In the heart of medieval castles, where lines between survival and chaos were thin, healthcare practices were crucial for maintaining the well-being of residents. The daily life in these fortified structures presented unique challenges to health, with common ailments ranging from minor illnesses to serious injuries sustained during defense or labor. Medieval healers, often referred to as physicians or leeches, were integral members of the castle community. They treated a wide array of conditions, using the knowledge and remedies available at the time. One of the most common ailments was infection, which could arise from wounds sustained during battles or everyday accidents. Healers would use herbal remedies like comfrey and yarrow to treat these infections. Another frequent problem was dysentery, often contracted due to poor sanitation within the castle walls. Physicians would prescribe mixtures of herbs such as fennel and mint to soothe the stomach and combat the symptoms. For broken bones or dislocations, healers would employ splints made from wood and linen to set the limb back into place. They also used poultices of healing herbs like calendula and St. John's wort to reduce inflammation and promote healing. The role of healers extended beyond physical ailments. They also played a crucial part in mental health. Castle life could be stressful and isolating, leading to bouts of melancholy or anxiety. To alleviate these conditions, they would prescribe tonics made from calming herbs such as chamomile and valerian root. These remedies helped residents cope with the emotional strain of castle life. The healthcare practices in medieval castles were deeply intertwined with the natural world and the seasons. Healers would gather herbs during spring and summer for use throughout the year. As autumn approached, they would prepare tinctures and salves to ensure a steady supply of remedies for the colder months. This connection with nature was essential for maintaining the health and well-being of castle residents. Understanding these healthcare practices provides a window into the daily lives and challenges faced by residents living in medieval castles during the Middle Ages. Medieval castles were not just homes, but also formidable defensive structures, essential for protecting the nobility and their possessions from invaders. One of the most crucial aspects of castle life was the armory, where weapons and armor were meticulously maintained and stored. The armory housed an array of medieval weapons, each designed to offer a distinct advantage in combat. Swords, for instance, were crafted with intricate designs and sharpened to lethal precision. Beyond swords, the armory contained a variety of other offensive tools such as maces, axes, and spears. These weapons were not only used in combat, but also served to intimidate potential attackers. Maintaining these weapons was a critical task. They required regular sharpening and oiling to prevent rust and ensure their effectiveness in battle. The castle's armorer would dedicate hours each day to this upkeep. The armory was also the storage place for various types of armor, from heavy plate mail to more flexible chain mail. Each suit of armor had to be carefully polished and inspected for signs of wear or damage. In times of peace, the armory served as a symbol of the castle's defensive prowess. During conflicts, it was a crucial lifeline, providing quick access to vital protective gear and weapons. Castle residents were always prepared for the possibility of an attack. The constant readiness for defense was a part of their daily lives, highlighting the strategic importance of these fortified dwellings. From the maintenance of weapons to the careful storage of armor, every aspect of castle life was intertwined with the need for vigilance and protection. This continual state of preparedness underscored the central role that castles played in medieval society. Siege warfare was a brutal reality for medieval castle residents, requiring ingenious defense mechanisms and constant vigilance. Trebuchets, massive catapult-like devices, could hurl projectiles over 300 meters, devastating castle walls and towers. These siege engines were often constructed on-site, using nearby resources like timber and animal skins to form the sling. Catapults, while less powerful, were smaller and easier to maneuver, making them ideal for breaching walls at closer range. Battering rams were another common tool, designed to break down wooden or less sturdy stone doors and gates with sheer force. Mining, or digging tunnels beneath castle walls, allowed attackers to undermine the foundation and cause sudden collapses. Sapping, the process of setting fire to wooden supports within these tunnels, added a layer of panic and chaos for castle inhabitants. The psychological toll was immense. Residents would live in constant fear, knowing that the ground beneath them could give way at any moment. Despite these terrifying tactics, castle defenses evolved to counteract siege engines and undermining strategies, showcasing the ingenuity of medieval engineers. Moats, thick stone walls, and advanced warning systems like watchtowers became essential elements in mitigating the threat of siege warfare. With the onset of winter, the focus inside medieval castles shifted to survival and endurance. Beyond protecting against sieges, inhabitants had to adapt to the harsh realities of the season. One critical aspect was preserving food. Before refrigeration existed, people relied on natural methods to keep their supplies fresh. Cool cellars were dug beneath the castles where temperatures remained steady year-round. Here, root vegetables and grains could be stored without spoiling. Meat was salted or smoked to extend its shelf life. These methods not only preserved the food, but also gave it distinctive flavors. Maintaining warmth inside the castle was another crucial challenge. Large stone fireplaces became the heart of each great hall. While these fireplaces provided significant heat, they also posed risks such as fire hazards and smoke inhalation. To mitigate these risks, some castles introduced chimneys that vented smoke outside, enhancing both safety and comfort. Beyond the Great Hall, smaller fireplaces were scattered throughout the castle to ensure that no part of the structure was left unheated. In colder regions like Eastern Europe, Byzantine architecture often featured hypocausts, underfloor heating systems powered by furnaces. These systems ensured that even the coldest nights could be endured with some measure of warmth. Managing limited resources was also vital during the winter months. Firewood, a crucial commodity for heating and cooking, had to be carefully rationed. Candles were another valuable resource, providing light in the long winter nights. Made from tallow or beeswax, these candles were carefully maintained and reused. Daily routines had to adapt to the limited daylight hours available during winter. Many tasks were moved indoors or completed earlier in the day to maximize efficiency and safety. Despite these challenges, the resourcefulness of medieval castle inhabitants ensured their survival through even the harshest winters. Their strategies not only demonstrates their resilience, but also offers a glimpse into the realities of life within a medieval fortress. Deep within the stone walls of medieval castles, a daily challenge loomed, maintaining hygiene in the face of limited resources and primitive technology. The solution to this problem came in the form of garderobes and cesspits, structures designed to manage waste effectively. Garderobes, or guardrobes, were small tower structures built off the main castle walls. These towers housed latrines, which were essentially long benches with holes over a shaft that led to an external pit. Cesspits, on the other hand, were large underground pits designed to collect and store human waste. The waste would accumulate over time until it was eventually collected and disposed of elsewhere. Chamber pots, however, were used for more immediate needs within the castle's living quarters. These portable vessels allowed residents to relieve themselves discreetly and then dispose of the contents in cesspits or garderobes. The disposal methods varied, but one common practice was to pour the contents down a shaft connected to an external pit or cesspit. Despite these efforts, hygiene within castle walls remained a constant challenge. The accumulation of waste and the lack of proper ventilation could lead to unsanitary conditions that posed significant health risks. These practical aspects of daily life significantly impacted the health and comfort of castle residents. The presence of these chapels within castles highlights the intertwining of spirituality with daily life. Funerary practices in medieval castles were deeply rooted in religious customs, reflecting the societal importance of faith. Burial practices varied depending on social status. Nobility and high-ranking clergy were often interred within castle chapels, their final resting places marked by elaborate tombs or stone sarcophagi. These burials symbolized not just their earthly prestige, but also their expected divine favor. For commoners, burials were typically simpler and took place outside the castle walls, often within communal graveyards. Yet, even these humble graves held spiritual significance, as they were often blessed by clergy during funeral rites. Mourning rituals in medieval castles were profoundly influenced by religious beliefs. Periods of mourning could last for extended periods, with specific days set aside for remembrance and prayer. The integration of religious rites into funeral customs offered a sense of continuity between the living and the deceased, as well as comfort in the face of loss. Chapels within castles served not only as places of worship, but also as spiritual sanctuaries where residents could find solace during trying times. The presence of these sacred spaces within the castle walls underscores how religious practices permeated every aspect of medieval life. From daily devotionals to funeral rituals, faith provided a framework for navigating both the mundane and the profound. By understanding these funerary practices, we gain insight into the medieval society's approach to death and its integration into daily castle life. These rituals not only honored the deceased, but also reinforced the social hierarchies and religious beliefs that structured their world. With no modern electricity, medieval castle residents faced the constant challenge of illumination. Their ingenious lighting solutions reveal a deep understanding of their environment and an impressive resourcefulness. Candles, torches, and oil lamps were staples within the castle walls. Residents strategically placed these lights near windows or in corners to maximize their reach. Windows were often positioned to capture the most daylight possible, with smaller openings on the northern sides to prevent drafts and larger ones facing south for maximum sunlight. Construction techniques included thick stone walls that reflected available light, making interiors brighter despite limited direct illumination. Fire safety was a critical consideration. Castles were built with high chimneys and stone walls to contain and dissipate smoke, reducing the risk of fires spreading. Residents also used reflective materials like polished metal plates or mirrors to amplify whatever light was available. These measures not only illuminated their spaces, but also showcased the ingenuity and adaptability of medieval castle residents in navigating their daily lives. As dusk settled, the glow of candles and torches created a warm ambiance that was both practical and comforting. The careful placement of these lights ensured that even during the darkest nights, castle interiors remained functional and welcoming. Beyond the grand architecture and defensive structures of medieval castles, there was a quiet yet crucial battle being waged, that of water management. The daily life of residents living in medieval castles depended heavily on a reliable source of water. Castles were often built near rivers or springs for this very reason, but even then, collecting and storing water required meticulous planning. Wells were dug deep into the ground, sometimes reaching depths of over 100 feet to tap into freshwater aquifers beneath the surface. Rainwater cisterns were another essential feature. These large tanks would collect rainwater from the castle's roof and store it for later use. Imagine a vast stone structure with an intricate network of gutters channeling rainwater into these cisterns. Once water was collected, it had to be stored properly to prevent contamination and ensure its longevity. Cisterns were often covered with heavy stones or lids to keep out dirt and debris, while wells were secured to prevent any unauthorized access. Distribution of water within the castle was another complex task. Aqueducts, similar to those used in ancient Roman structures, were sometimes employed to carry water from collection points to various parts of the castle. For day-to-day use, water was stored in barrels or large vats placed throughout the castle's living quarters. Hygiene practices were closely tied to these water management systems. Bathing was a luxury afforded only to the nobility, and even then, it required careful planning. Wastewater disposal was another critical consideration. Sewage pits were dug outside the castle walls, and waste was often transported away from living areas to prevent health hazards. These logistical efforts underscored the complexities of maintaining basic daily needs in a medieval castle setting. In the bustling life of medieval castles, animal husbandry played a crucial role, intertwining with daily routines and sustaining the community. The great halls, sprawling with straw-covered floors, often served as communal spaces where both humans and animals slept side by side. This arrangement not only provided warmth, but also fostered a sense of unity within the castle's inhabitants. The types of animals kept varied depending on their purpose. For food, livestock like cows, pigs, and sheep were common sights in castle courtyards and stables. These animals provided meat, dairy products, and wool, essential resources for the castle's inhabitants. In addition to food, some animals were kept for labor. Horses, oxen, and mules were crucial for transportation, agriculture, and defensive tasks, such as pulling carts and carrying heavy loads. The care of these animals was meticulous. Castle residents had specific routines for feeding, grooming, and housing their livestock. For instance, the daily milking of cows was a task that required precise timing and skill. Feeding routines were tightly managed to ensure the animals remained healthy and productive. Grains were stored in vast granaries, and fodder was carefully prepared to sustain the livestock throughout the winter months. Animal shelters within castles were often well-ventilated structures designed to keep both the animals and their human caretakers comfortable. These shelters not only housed the livestock, but also provided additional living space for castle residents during colder months. Beyond practical purposes, animals also served as companions, bringing a touch of warmth and familiarity to the otherwise harsh realities of medieval life. Dogs, for example, were often kept as pets and guardians, offering both comfort and security. This intricate relationship between humans and animals illustrates how integral they were to castle life, shaping daily tasks and interactions in profound ways. Their influence extended beyond daily chores to the emotional well-being of the community, highlighting the complex and multifaceted nature of medieval castle life. Beyond the grandeur and military prowess of medieval castles lies the intricate daily life of their inhabitants. Let's delve into one of the most essential aspects: sleeping conditions within these fortified residences. In the vast great halls of medieval castles, sleeping arrangements were communal, a necessity dictated by both space and warmth. Layers of straw and rushes covered the cold stone floors, providing an insulating barrier between the inhabitants and the harsh ground. For mattresses, medieval residents relied on piles of hay or cloth bags filled with dried peas, beans, or other grains. These humble beddings were not only for comfort, but also served the practical purpose of elevating sleepers above the drafty floors. In a time before central heating, warmth was paramount, and shared body heat among those sleeping in close proximity was crucial for survival during cold medieval nights. The role of straw and rushes went beyond providing a soft surface. They helped trap heat, creating an insulating layer that protected against the chill from the stone floors. As night fell, families would gather around the central hearth, seeking both the physical warmth of the fire and the emotional security of being together. While it might seem rustic compared to modern standards, these sleeping conditions were practical solutions tailored to the realities of medieval life. The Great Hall, with its communal sleeping arrangements, was more than just a place to rest. It was the heart of castle life, where people found both physical and emotional comfort. This glimpse into bedding and mattresses underscores the practical aspects of daily life in medieval castles, highlighting how comfort and survival strategies were intricately woven into the fabric of their existence. As we explore these historical spaces, we gain a deeper appreciation for the ingenuity and resilience of those who called medieval castles home.